Welcome back, dear students. This is the fifth part of chapter 2, Atmosphere. So we were reading about methane. Now we will study about the human sources of methane. Number 1 is decomposing organic matter. So landfills, animal wastes, sewerage and dams are all human sources of methane. Bacteria produce methane through decomposition process, which slowly escape to the surface and is released into the atmosphere. So through the decomposition process, bacteria produces methane, which slowly escapes to the surface and is released into the atmosphere. Next is natural gas extraction. So methane, it escapes during oil and gas extractions. For example, fracking. Fracking means ways of extracting oil from shale or liquid particles. So methane escapes during oil and gas extraction operations and is released into the atmosphere. Now next that we will study is about nitrous oxide. So this is again another powerful greenhouse gas that is liberated into the atmosphere through practices adopted in soil cultivation. So soil cultivation, the practices that are adopted in soil cultivation, through that, this nitrous oxide, this powerful greenhouse gas is liberated into the atmosphere, especially when organic pesticides and fertilizers are used in farming activities. So we know that pesticides and fertilizers, they are used by the farmers, right, to enhance their productivity. So atmospheric nitrous oxide levels have risen by roughly 18% since the Industrial Revolution. So since Industrial Revolution, atmospheric nitrous oxide levels, so the levels of nitrous oxide in the atmosphere have risen by roughly 18%. Next is chlorofluorocarbons or CFCs. Chlorofluorocarbons are long-lasting greenhouse gases that also destroy the ozone layer. So chlorofluorocarbons, they destroy the ozone layer. CFCs do not occur naturally in the atmosphere. So how do they occur? They are synthetic compounds that only originate from human sources. So they do not occur naturally, rather they are synthetic compounds. So they originate from human sources. For example, aerosols, foaming agents, refrigerants and other industrial applications. So through these human sources, they originate. Oil and coal are two main culprits in producing greenhouse gases. So oil and coal, they are mainly responsible for producing greenhouse gases. Methane, like carbon dioxide, creates a thick shield over the atmosphere, trapping the sun's rays. So with the continued use of mining operations, mining activities, these harmful gases will only increase. Now we will study about the impact of global warming. First impact is of global warming, desertification. So global warming is impacting the Earth's climate as well as the physical environment, in the following ways, and the first way is desertification. So increasing temperatures around the world is affecting the water cycle and rainfall patterns. So this increase in temperature around the world, it is affecting the process of water cycle and even the pattern of rainfall. Because of the changing rainfall patterns, the arid and semi-arid areas, they are getting drier. So the arid areas, dry areas, they are getting drier even more, and this is causing water crisis for over 2.5 million people in dry regions. So water scarcity in the dry regions for over 2.5 million people, which are degrading into deserts. This process is called desertification. Next is increased melting of snow and ice. So snow and ice caps, they are melting now at a much faster speed or pace. Okay, this has been seen especially in the Alps, Himalayas, Andes, Rockies, Alaska and Africa, but is particularly true at the Earth's poles, that is the north and the south poles. Perennial ice cover in the Arctic is melting. So the ice cover that is there in the Arctic, it is melting at the rate of 11.5% each decade, and the thickness of the Arctic ice, it is also decreasing by 48% since the 1960s. So the continent of Antarctica has been losing more than 100 cubic kilometers of ice per year since 2002. And since 2010, you know, the Antarctic ice melt rate has doubled almost. Okay, so around the world, these snow and ice caps, they are melting at a much faster rate due to global warming or increase in the temperature. Next is sea level rise. So the Earth's sea level has risen by 21 centimeters since 1880. Global warming, that is increase in the temperature, has caused the pace of sea level to rise immensely, greatly, okay? And this has affected the ocean in two ways. Number one, warmer average temperatures are causing ocean waters to expand. That is called thermal expansion. And the accelerated melting of ice and glaciers are increasing the amount of water in the oceans. So number one is warmer average temperatures, that is leading to the expansion of the ocean water, and the accelerated melting of ice and glaciers. They are doing what? When the ice and glaciers, they will melt, they will increase the amount of water in the oceans. And lastly, loss of biodiversity. Each plant and animal requires in a specific temperature range, and global warming may force most of these species, okay, to move towards a higher altitude or latitude, and there is a high possibility of these species becoming extinct due to this change.